So yeah, today I will basically show you how you can use LiDAR data to calculate or assess the solar potential on rooftops of a big area. So it's a bit excessive to do for one house, but if you want to look at a city level, then you can't really do it one house at a time, but still a bottom-up approach to look at all the buildings in an area, all the houses, all the rooftops. And get the estimates for solar radiation on those rooftops. But before I go to the LiDAR thing, as Michael mentioned, why am I speaking about Auckland in Dunedin? So I've been in New Zealand for 4 years now. The first 3 years I was in Auckland at the Energy Centre in Auckland. And over the last year of those 3 years, I did this research on solar potential using LiDAR data. And I'm still working with them 1 day a week, so this project is still to some extent ongoing, and we have some exciting new developments happening at the moment, so I'll come back to that at the end of the presentation. That's really what I want to talk about. So there's been a lot of debate about solar, is it good or bad for New Zealand? Will it make the poor poorer and the rich richer? The economics there, so is it feasible just to install solar or not? There's been debate about the death spiral of the grid, so if the rich people install more solar and then the grids or light companies start saying, oh, but solar is impacting well, those who have solar aren't paying as much in fixed costs. So those who are using more electricity will pay a bigger share, and hence we should some tariff or tax for those who are using solar because they're still contributing to the fees, which then may lead to those people who have already installed solar to go off grid, maybe get a diesel generator or something. And that leaves less of us poor people to pay for those fixed costs. So then those fixed costs will go up, and then more and more people, those who have solar prices go down, those at the richer end might go off grid, which means less of us people paying fixed costs. So that's kind of the death spiral of the grid when people see more solar. That's part of the debate. And then, of course, there's the environmental impacts on New Zealand's already high renewable. Does it make sense to install solar, especially those who install solar go off grid and diesel generators? That's not very good environmentally. And at the same time, even if they don't go off grid, what is solar replacing in New Zealand? Is it replacing the bad coal or gas, or is it replacing the good hydro? So there's a lot of debate around that. At the same time, so you could ask, does it make sense to have a whole debate about solar when there's so little solar at the system moment? And is that growing, and how much might it potentially grow in the future? So currently, in 2016, solar generation contributed to less than 0.01% of total New Zealand generation. So at the moment, solar is very, very small, but it's growing. So these are just I'm not sure where it's best for me to send the figures for different areas in New Zealand. And just to show the role of Auckland, obviously it's not weighted by population, it's just the total. So Auckland does have the biggest chunk of solar PV installed, and it's been growing a lot in the last 3 years. So gone from less than 2 megawatts to more than 10 in the last 3 years, so a 5-fold increase. The other point I want to show is the role of residential. So out of the 11.4 currently installed in Auckland, 10 megawatts is in the residential sector. And since I'm talking about assessing the rooftops in the residential areas, that's one of the justifications for that. And then MB's projection. So they have done their own formal projections of what the electricity system might look in the next decades up to 2050. This is the central projection, so according to their business as usual. And it is expecting solar to increase, and it's expecting the residential sector to be the highest installer of solar. So at national level, however, we don't have targets, so those are just the projections of what's expected to happen, what potentially might happen without any political intervening. Auckland, however, has their targets. Auckland has a plan, so Auckland has a black and white plan, or written down plan, very detailed, of what they want to do in the next decades. So they have a low carbon Auckland strategy. It covers all the different areas where energy is related, carbon, waste, transport, etc. And they have very detailed targets also for different areas of energy, including solar. So what they're saying about solar PV is this. So this is just June, so it's 2020, this one. In 3 years, they would expect to have 22 megawatts of solar. What do they currently have? 10, 11.4, yeah, 10. So, and if that went from 2 megawatts to that in 3 years, so in 3 years, we could expect that could happen. Fair enough. Then, by 2040, that's 20-something years from now, they're expecting, or their target is 970 megawatts of installed PV capacity. Now, that's already a big jump. So that, and this doesn't mean 176,000 something households with PV. It means the energy demand of those houses covered with PV. So it will be the number of rooftops covered with that should be bigger. So when they just publish it, of course, you want to know, okay, what does that mean? Do they have the potential for that? How many rooftops do we need to cover to get this? And what share is that of all the rooftops? So that's kind of where my work comes in. And then I'll go back to what is LiDAR. I know some of you are from physics, some of you are not, I suppose. Who knows what is LiDAR? A few of you. I will illustrate it with this, so I'm very happy with the pointer. So LiDAR is a remote sensing technique where you use a light like this one to send pulses like these ones. And you then have a sensor back here, so that when the light reflects from the wall and comes back here, you can record the time it takes for the light to go there and come back, and hence you can calculate, because we know the speed of light from the physics handbook, we can calculate the distance from here to that forward. So what this does, it has a plane, and it will fly over like this. This is going to be recorded. And then, so it has the same time, and then it comes here, and it's a shorter time, so it will know that this thing is closer, and then covering the whole city with this, it will find all the different objects and make a nice digital 3D model of the city. So that's what LiDAR does. And it records, obviously, the pulse. It records the first thing so one pulse can be reflected from, say there's a tree, so it can be reflected from the top of the tree, from the middle of the tree, and then from the ground. And that's why you can then kind of start separating. The last returns are the ground points, so you can make a model for the ground. And then the first returns would be just the highest tops of anything the pulse finds on its way. So then you can get the objects on top of the ground. So our LiDAR data comes from Auckland Council. So Auckland Council got a private company basically to do this surveying for LiDAR data. So it was collected by NZ Aerial Mapping and Aerial Surveys Limited in 2013, 2014. And that's kind of the first limitation of using a set like this. Obviously, buildings, some will have been demolished, and new ones will have been built on top. And that's nothing I can do anything about. But so that's one of the limitations. So potentially in the future, maybe drones could do this kind of job, and you could get a new data set every, say, 3 years. And then go into a bit of the technical detail. Oops, sorry. The average point spacing. So how close are the points together? The requirement for a good LiDAR data set, the requirement for this data set was a minimum of 1.5 points per square meter. However, then if we plot the distribution of the point density, we see that on average we have more or less 4 points per square meter, and that's that's said to be enough for a 1 meter resolution. So all the results will be at a resolution of 1 square meter. The vertical accuracy is plus minus 10 centimeters. So you will not get the corrugated roof shape, but you will get, the slope of the roof should be correct. So this is an example of LiDAR data. How many of you have seen LiDAR data before? Yeah. So, Jeffrey, you saw it in my presentation. So this is basically what it looks like. So this is an area in Auckland. You see a hill, so you'll see the elevation, the colors show the elevation, so the red is higher up. You see the trees, you see the roads, you see buildings. Who knows Auckland? Who knows where this is? Jefferson? No. Yes, the Mountain View's there, the harbour is on that side, and that is a third of Eden Park. So if you zoom in, then you actually start seeing the points in more detail. And You start seeing buildings, so they're slightly higher than the ground around them, and you can start seeing at the very edge the shapes of the building, so you can see that it's actually capturing the rooftops. So that's good. So what our approach was, first of all, the red area, the grid, basically shows the coverage of the LiDAR data. So that's the whole area for which we have data. It's given in small tiles because it's a huge amount of data. So just to be more manageable, it's given in tiles of a couple hundred meters and a couple hundred meters. So if you want to look at, say, this area, you don't have to use all this. You can just get those tiles and work with that. So, but since for our purposes of looking at residential areas, I don't really care about the tiles. I might want to look at neighborhoods instead. So to still have it at a manageable level, I use the census area unit. So this is the unit that is one level higher from mesh block. Mesh block is like the street of the census unit, and these so-called area units is one level higher. Of those areas, we eliminated the areas that have only partial LiDAR coverage, and also areas which have just very few residential houses because we're looking at the rooftops. So, for example, White Acre is here. I didn't include it. Few houses, a lot of trees, and of course, we eliminated some areas that are just water or just don't have any houses. So in the end, we end up with 334 suburbs, which are shown here. And then we use the LiDAR data, and using those suburbs one at a time to calculate the solar potential on each rooftop at a 1 square meter resolution. The methodology looks something like this. So this has been just published, so you can actually, if you want to look at the methodology in more detail, you can find it. It's already online. To simplify, I've just written down the main points here. So we use the LiDAR data first to create that digital surface model, that would be a 3D model of the whole city, including trees, bridges, houses, hills, all that. Then we get building outlines from Auckland Council for their online GIS service, so that we can, because I want to calculate the solar potential only for the rooftops, and I'll cut out the rooftops from the entire data series and just do the calculations for those. So from the digital surface model, I already have the elevation. Based on those points, I can calculate the slope of the rooftops, and then the aspect, how it's oriented towards the solar node. And then I use the solar radiation tool to calculate, given the slope and the aspect and the time of the year, etc. Where the sun goes up, when the sun comes down, I calculate the solar radiation per square meter. So all of the surface model, all the parts having to do with the LiDAR data, I used software called LAS Tools, which is very good at dealing with LiDAR data, basically, because ArcGIS, which is very good with maps, is software with base sets of LiDAR data. And then we used ArcGIS to then calculate the slope aspect and the annual solar radiation.
And you talk about how you calculated the slope, or do you not want to talk about that? That's the wrong level of detail. We can talk later.
Yeah, well, it looks at the points around. So it has the elevation points, and it looks at the points around, and then calculates the slope from those.
Do you get an idea of how likely it is to be correct by checking the agreement of all the points on a rooftop, or do you end up kind of sampling from a couple of edge points to figure out the slope?
If you look at the closest points.
The edge points and then interpolate. And then I'm just wondering if you find unusual cases, like if a tree is.
For sure, it will have, yeah. I'll show you the results. It's kind
Okay.
of, shows all the caveats as well.
Sure.
Yeah. So this is the steps in writing and this description, but now I'll actually show what it looks like. So these are the red lines show kind of the area units that I was using in Auckland. This is the example. This is Mount Eden here. So the area is called actually Sherburne, this area here. And this is then zoomed in. So this would be the last returns from the pulses, so the ground points, which gives you the digital terrain model, just the underlying ground. And I put in the contour lines just to show it better what that looks like. Then you add on to that the first return, so the points that the laser pulses that were first returned that show the highest point of any surface. So that's when describe the objects, the trees and the buildings and bridges and such. And so you add that on top of the terrain model to get the final digital surface model, which will look something like this one. So again, you see the coloring is not very good, obviously, but you see Maldives there, and you see roads, and you see buildings. To zoom in, again, the color is not very good, but you do see the trees, etc., and you see buildings here, 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 here. So information is there, just the coloring is not that good here. And so then I use these building footprints from Auckland Council that gives me the shape of all of the roofs, the polygons, and I put them on top of that, and I extract those polygons to get the areas for which I want to do the calculations for. So I start by, so here I already have the elevation, that's the different colors, it's just the elevation. So I calculate the slope, and that's where you then start seeing the caveats coming in at a 1 meter resolution. For big surfaces, it works very, very well. For smaller surfaces and rooftops that have a lot of details and are more complex, you get more problems. So, for example, here you see, first of all, it goes from the slope angle from 0 to 90. So the highest one is 80 something. So the red spots will kind of indicate that it's kind of from a wall, or you have points up here and down there. So it's kind of different, that it's slightly off. And then again, this is another case where you see it looks terrible, and you can see it's like, it seems to be different levels of roofs. So you'd have in between, you'd have just a big drop. So that will be indicated there in red. Yeah, otherwise just flat roof, the dark blue. Another little caveat is the very top of the roof, the very, what's called a bridge or something. That since it looks at the surrounding points, it will kind of make it look flat here. So it will be a blue line, dark blue line here, here, here. And obviously it's not, for a square meter, it's not flat. So that's another limitation. So after the slope, I calculate the aspect, so what is the direction? And my scale is not very good here, because it goes obviously from 0 to 360. So red and blue are both north facing, so which you can see here. The contrast in red and blue, so it's slightly facing one way or the other, red or blue. But you get the point, you have north, east and west quite clearly indicated, and south, and so forth. So it does kind of get the segment of the roof quite well. And then using that information to calculate the solar radiation, you see results like this. So dark red is very high solar radiation, blue is very little. And some of the points that you can start pointing out is, for example, this building here. You'll see the sunniest spot will be down here. And this is less sunny, obviously. And then when you look back, you'll see, okay, there's some trees here, and there's also the hill on this side. So it will be more shaded down here. So this is actually the sunniest spot. Other example is this building here. You'll see that it clearly captures the shading of the tree. So the sunniest spot would be here. So if we just did theoretical calculation without taking into account the trees, we didn't know the tree was there, we could say, oh, the potential of this is massive. The tree is there. Now that's kind of an obvious example because we see the big tree, but if we do something like this for a big area, I don't know about that. So that's where the LiDAR kind of comes in handy, that it does take into account all the objects in the way. It doesn't take into account the shading of the trees and buildings nearby as well. So how good are the results? How many of you know about NIWA's solar view tool? It's NIWA has an online tool where you can put your address in, and you can put in the slope and the aspect of the roof, the part where you like to install a PV panel, and it will give you an annual estimate or an estimate of the solar radiation on the rooftop. So it's based on, they have I think 15-year data set and a 30-year data set, so it's based on measured solar radiation. So in that sense, it's very, very good if you don't have shading. And the NIWA tool takes into account the topography. So if you have a hill on one side, it will take that into account in terms of where the sun will go up in your calculation. So it's very cool. But it doesn't take into account that trees, buildings, all that local shading nearby. So hence, if I compare to the NIWA Solar View tool, it's only comparable when there's no shading. So basically, we can compare these points, but not really these points. And this is actually interesting because, so this is the result from NIWA Solar View, and this is our result. So we randomly picked 1,000 points and compared. And so all these points found in this top triangle means NIWA gives really good results, whereas our tool gives really bad results. And that's probably then because there is some shading in way, so we can compare that. But the line here is kind of the correlation where how good it is. And again, for solar, kind of probably this bunch is the most interesting to compare. Basically, our tool underestimates for the north-facing surfaces. Our calculation currently underestimates by 5%, and for east and west, about 10%. So if we look at the numbers for the north-facing surfaces, half of the points are within 5% of the NIWA's evaluation. For east and west, half of the points are within 10%. So at least within 5 or 10% for those points that would be relevant for solar, I would say. But we are currently tweaking so we can, for the solar radiation tool in ArcGIS, we can give a parameter for transmissivity and diffusivity, so kind of estimate climatic parameters. And we can tweak those a bit and try to see if we can get the best points to match better with NIWA. But we just make sure that they're unshaded, and because at the same time, I don't want to overestimate, I don't want to give a result that is better than it actually would be. So NIWA is, I think, a good comparison to still tweak this a little bit to get a bit closer to what NIWA gets for the sunniest spots with no shading. And again, you see, obviously, the north-facing points have a higher radiation than south ones. So now we have calculated for every square meter on every rooftop. When we start considering solar installations, we might want to look at certain the best parts of the parts with the highest solar radiation. So to be pragmatic, I assumed 4 different PV system sizes, which roughly correspond to 14, 20, 28, and 36 square meters. The first 14 square meters, that will be a small PV system, maybe 2 kilowatts. 20 square meters will be maybe 3.5 kilowatts, and that's the current average system size installed in New Zealand. And the 2 larger ones would be roughly maybe 4 for this one, maybe 5 or 6 kilowatts for the largest one. Those, they say, already kind of, in most households would require batteries, so they're not being installed yet, but as batteries are becoming cheaper, we would expect these larger installations also to become popular. The interesting thing is obviously because I have to look at the solar potential on that area of rooftop. So what this basically just shows is that the bigger, which is obvious, the bigger the area you look at, the lower your average radiation would be. And that's something we want to involve here, because it's just in general for that stuff and aspect. But then you'll just have a bit of more shading, or maybe it'll be actually on a different part of your roof. Once you start adding up ranking the sunniest spots on your roof. So this is a statistical approach. I'm not looking at the 14 or even more relevant for 36 square meters that make one joint PV system. So this could actually be in different segments of your roof. I'm just looking at the top 36 square meters, because that's the approach I can do with 500,000 rooftops. So I can't really tell at this point without visually looking at the results where on the roof that might be. So that's why, again, this is great for having an overview of all the rooftops in the city, but not necessarily, you can't directly take a result for one individual house. You have to look at the house and then see does it make sense or not. If it makes sense, then great. You can also then start looking at the market size. How many rooftops do we have with a certain solar potential? So here we have the number of houses in Auckland, going up to around 500,000, and obviously we go down here. And then the mean solar radiation on how much yeah, exactly. On the top, there's 14, 20, 28, and 36 square meters. So a PV company, for example, might say, okay, if we have, this is our system size, what is the market? If we say, with our system, we need a minimum solar radiation of 1,300 kilowatt hours per square meter per year to be economically feasible in Auckland. Say that I'm just inventing that number. So then they could kind of say, okay, what is our market size? How many houses have that potential on the rooftop? So what is our market size based on that? And then they can still see, okay, what about a bigger system? So then we go leftward and see, okay, that's the size. Or that would be the potential for a bigger system. So they might actually decide what size system they want to sell and what would the money to order what their market size is based on these results. Now we get to the exciting part. What does this mean? What do all these results mean in terms of the target, low carbon target of Auckland? And this is a back of the envelope calculation basically. So the solar calculation results are there, but then how do we translate back to an actual PV output? I make a few assumptions. We can all discuss and debate that and change them as well. This is just kind of a give an idea of where we are in magnitude. So the Auckland 2040 goal was to power equivalent of 176,565 homes with PV equivalent to that. Assuming that each house consumes 8,000 kilowatt hours per year, that might be a bit high for Auckland, and then I came to think of it, if we're thinking of 2040 and efficiency measures, it should be much lower then. So this is actually probably a very high number. Hopefully there will be efficiency measures. One of Auckland's targets, or one of the points they made was that if we now if we put the existing efficiency measures in houses with lower demand by 40%, 30-40% household energy demand. So there's already the potential to do that. So if we manage to do even that in the next 20 years, then we would have 30-40% lower demand per household. So this is an overestimate, but just to give an idea of what it would be with today's energy consumption. So this is kind of what we're aiming at, or somewhere between half of this and this, let's say. Then if we take I've made a few scenarios here. So the first one is that we take all of the houses, so the 500 something thousand houses, and use the entire roof. So now we're thinking of thin film technologies. So cheap, but lower efficiency PV conversion technologies. And if we just go crazy and imagine that we cover all the rooftops in Auckland with these thin films, shaded everything, whole rooftops, all of them, we get an annual solar radiation generation of such. If thin films generally would have a 4 to 6% efficiency, so just to put a number there, let's put 5%, and we get almost 5,000 gigawatt hours per year from that. So that's kind of a maximum here, but kind of conservative here, I suppose. So some kind of an upper limit. And obviously it's a lot higher than Auckland Council target, so technically feasible, yes, sure. Then we try to look at something more realistic scenarios, I suppose. There are other scenarios I'm using 12% system conversion efficiency. That would take into account the panel, the inverter, and everything. So just from the total solar radiation to output into the grid. And again, that can be discussed. I'm thinking of a normal polycrystalline silicon cell that's not common at the moment, which has, I think the panel will have an efficiency maybe to 16 when they come out of the factory. Then that's influenced by dust, it's influenced by temperature, output temperature, and by time. So every 10 years, the panel efficiency will go down. It's about 10% or something like that. So if we think of the lifetime, etc. 12 is somewhat, some would say conservative, but also I think it's often used in the academic world, but then PV panel owners and PV panel sellers will kind of throw tomato at me for using that value. But anyway, using 12% here, I assume different numbers for the share of houses, how many houses we use. So out of the whole stock, we use a quarter. And if we put a small system, so this is 2 kilowatt system on all of them, we'd get roughly 300. And it's the same if we put just 10% of the houses with a big system, so a 6 kilowatt system, we get also around 300 gigawatt hours of annual electricity production. So that's not enough. So we need something more than just 10 or 20% of houses. So if we, let's take 50% of houses, we have a small system and a big system, 12% conversion rate. Then we start getting to, with the big systems, we get closer to the actual goal. So considering that this is an overestimation, this might be an underestimation. I'm sure there's something in between that encourages us to continue this solar debate. So it's totally worth it in that sense. Technical feasibility is there. Then I started comparing neighborhoods. So all the previous was just looking at actual houses and statistics of houses. If we then start thinking from the policy perspective, and what can we tell by looking at different neighborhoods? No, this does not change the solar resource in any way across the neighborhood. This only reflects the 3D model of the city in each neighborhood. So it tells us about how rooftop shapes look like, and it tells us something about the trees. So this is a comparison of results. This is again Mount Eden, and this is Pukeko here west. And you can kind of clearly see that this is more orange as one point. So why do these have a higher solar potential? Well, you can obviously start checking out the shapes of the roofs. These ones are kind of all north-facing big surfaces, whereas these guys tend to be oriented differently. And you can also see the difference in trees. So the one on the left seems to be a lot more leafy and have big mature trees. Now that I'm thinking, if this is a newer neighborhood, will these trees grow to become like that? When? I don't know. So that's another kind of limitation. Someone with future research to look at the trees' impact on PV potential. And that's just kind of zoomed out. So just to have this is less scientific than I just kind of rated the houses, rated the top best 14 square meters in this case, and kind of just ranked them into 6 different rankings and to give them a color so it's visually just easier to compare. And that again clearly just shows that houses of a certain shape have a higher potential, and houses that don't have any trees around them have better potential than houses that are in historical mature neighborhoods with mature trees, basically. Then to get to the fun part, we can start ranking the neighborhoods. So you can look at the top 20, in this case, top 34, 36 square meters of each roof in each neighborhood. What is the average value for that? And give their own neighborhood a ranking to kind of see if we wanted to direct policy or even market your PV systems in some areas, which would they be? And then you can start looking at more interesting stuff, as in where is income, where is the money, where is the demand of suburbs. You can start looking at all those other things around neighborhoods, connected to neighborhoods. So this is just kind of ranking them and showing that some neighborhoods in Auckland that are very good, in the central Auckland areas, Brennan, etc. Not necessarily so good, but again, this says nothing about individual houses, which I'll show here. So obviously, as a curious person, I want to see, okay, where are the absolute best houses? So I found the top 20 houses of the whole area, and that's the best one. So the best house here is in Opanuku, so it's off the scenic drive in Auckland, in Waitaku's. Yeah, so lots of trees. That's why I didn't put the map and everything, so you guys will know. Exactly. No, but they should know this so that they can, well, maybe their market value would go up. I don't know. That's a different study. North is up here, yeah. Yeah, so this is just zoomed down from Google website. I can picture. So yeah, just to point out that it says nothing about individual houses, because I presented this in Auckland and I got thrown tomato figuratively because someone from Grayling was saying, why is my neighborhood green? And then we had a beautiful, very well functioning, very efficient PV installations, obviously, very good efficient plots. So just as a disclaimer. So as mentioned, in addition to just getting the solar potential for a rooftop or for a suburb, there are some other parameters you want to look at when you start thinking of where is Auckland going to install all the potential, or how they're harvesting that. Income, that is probably currently the biggest hurdle kind of for installing solar. Demand, where is demand? So here I'm looking at solar potential, income, and demand. Demand, I'm proxying by number of residents per dwelling. So, for example, this is exploring, but I'll go through it quickly, but much efficiently. So just total radiation per rooftop by mean building area. Clear correlation, that kind of makes sense. The bigger the roof, the higher the solar radiation. But does mean building area mean more income? So do the rich people have bigger houses? And that's what I'm putting here. Income and building area. And you can see a slight increase here maybe to these guys, but not really. Like if these houses, these neighborhoods have the biggest, highest solar, total solar potential in big houses, they're not in the richest, they're not the richest neighborhoods. So house area per income goes up a bit in the beginning, but then kind of just kind of levelizes here. Income and total solar radiation per rooftop. Well, that's kind of the same graph as this because there's a direct correlation here. So this is kind of boring. Then mean solar radiation. So solar radiation per square meter compared to income. Actually not so good. So ideally we have solar power installed in these neighborhoods, paid by these guys, and transmitted, either sold or gifted to these guys. So these guys should get the benefit of it. This is where it should be installed, and this is where it should be paid for. That's the idea. How? So that's where possibly new market mechanisms, local energy markets might start coming in. So if these guys do a little Airbnb leasing of the rooftops of these guys, and then install big installation of these for these rooftops, you can measure it, what they produce, what they consume themselves, and then they can either gift or sell, trade their extra energy with these guys. So anything between more than 8 cents and between 8 and 25 cents, they could give it to, or sell it to where the demand is. People who are maybe poorer and having that effort will be happy to buy it 10 cents per kilowatt hour. So that's kind of the idea of putting it this way. Now going to the current work, what we were kind of excited about. This is not final anyway, so don't judge too much. But the idea is to put this public for anyone to zoom into their house, look at their neighbors, look at their community houses, the community buildings and everything around them, and see where the solar potential might be in their neighborhood. And so the idea is to make a web-based tool like this, where you can search for a street, or you can just zoom down. The idea is also, this is one view that we're testing, the other possibilities to then also add the tree. So you have to decide on what to have as a background, what to not have, how to color code it. So we're using little circles, or actually big circles. And the idea is also to have this is just very, very prototype, to have some drop-down menu, so people could choose a system size, choose an efficiency that they assume, I don't know how much information we need to put in that part, and then get some initial estimate of the total generation potential of the rooftop. Oh, and what I'd also like to put there is a citizen science approach. So if you see a rooftop, a house that wouldn't match at all your house, so if the house has been demolished or something that doesn't match at all, they could click on it and kind of report it. So then I would get some feedback, because obviously I haven't been able to check all of them. And sometimes you can maybe see something doesn't make sense at all. So it would be nice to have a feedback mechanism to someone who goes to their house and sees that that's not correct. It's old information or something. Or something like this one, if a tree has been cut down, then the result would be completely different. So that's kind of brings me to the end of the presentation. Key points are basically about LiDAR. It's becoming more and more commonly used, or more commonly available for most cities. They've already collected for various reasons for to get a LiDAR model of their city, and using it to calculate the solar potential is just one example that can be used for individual houses, as I mentioned, 3 times, you kind of need to check the validity and it's all where the sunniest spot would be. Is it on one spot, and then you can trust the result. If it's in 2 or several spots, then you have to think, okay, am I going to need to install several PV systems to get that potential or not? So you need to check it using influencers. And the results, can be used to inform policy, because you can do some calculations per neighborhood, per cost per street, etc. You can investigate some market opportunities that I also mentioned, and some initial assessments for individual rooftops or for communities. And that's where I end. Thank you. Any questions?
Thanks a lot, Kiti. Any questions?
Just one really quick geek question. How big is the data set?
I think it was the original raw data. Maybe it was about 700 or 900 figures in it, if I remember.
So what would we need to do it for the new? What sort of data?
Oh, I don't know.
Do they have?
I don't know if Dunedin has it. Wellington has done. I think Tara has done it. So Wellington they have a public map with shading. So they have a very pretty map, similar to mine, but prettier because they finished it. We haven't finished ours yet. But so they have all the shading basically. So they have the sunny spots versus shaded, but they don't have any numbers available on solar radiation.
They've not connected to building shades, have they?
I think they have.
They have, okay.
I think so this is what Wellington has done.
Yeah.
So they have the building shades.
Yeah, okay.
So actually these look very, very similar to mine.
Yep.
When you look closer, they look very similar. But but they don't have information on per square meter solar radiation. So there.
Sea level rise, something like LiDAR.
Yes, for sure, yeah.
Two reasons to do it.
Yeah.
Kiti, I'm so impressed by the analysis. My question is more, just takes it outside the question you've been asking. It just strikes me that setting up an energy capture system in tiny robotics like this, so it's rapid and efficient, and really not the better if we're looking to generate a certain amount to do it all in one place with much bigger systems that don't have gaps in between. I know that's not where you're going with this analysis, which is fascinating and useful, but just a wider question. Is there a better way of doing this?
I think that has to do with land area and land prices. And you kind of, I haven't looked into it, but I think bargaining with that. Bargaining with New Zealand, then,
I suppose from the point of view of, as you said, the land here is free, effectively.
Yeah.
It's just there. And it's just a choice of whether you put a unit on top of it.
the large scale units, I think the thermal ones are more efficient, but they require to be closer to the equator. They require a big chunk of area to be direct. So further away from the equator, they're not as feasible. The ones in the straight, the ones with big mirrors, for example. So PV then will have some economies of scale, but
Well, the other point here is that all the separate installations all make their own regulators and things, which is going to be a massive component explosion compared to a big solar farm.
Yeah.
There's also been some research into photovoltaics you can drive on, so that it's the top surface of the road.
Yeah, and that's something you could use this as well to calculate. You get the roads and get their slopes and.
Actually, I remember a previous seminar we gave Green Card, talking about the proportion of the Auckland land area that's car parks.
Yeah.
And it's something like 30% or more.
I remember it was ridiculous, and the regulations that have more. You need a huge number.
So do you think we put the stuff on car parks to make sure the cars are parked on the street?
Brilliant.
Well, I was wondering how much the weather conditions like the actual
accuracy.
And then how much you think the system sustaining household usage.
You mean on a summer versus winter scale, or as in compared to the new
on a
data?
daily basis.
On a daily basis.
Might not be an issue for all, but.
Well, I mean, they have rainy, cloudy days as well, so it will have a direct impact. They say even on cloudy days it will give you some output, but obviously it's more than that direct.
But your calculation has taken
Yeah.
into account.
NIWA's data has taken that into account. My data will try and get to the level of NIWA with assumed values. So that ArcGIS solar calculator just uses a theoretical sun trajectory of the sky.
But you scale that.
Yeah, so it looks at, I think, half hourly for 12 days of the year, and then scales to the year. So those are values.
How are we able to link to QV values?
So, yeah.
QV values, is it for the, the value of house value?
Property house.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Probably not too difficult, because that was a suggestion from a researcher in Auckland as well, who uses some properties and all that. So he said one could look at age of house, because this obviously tells us about the orientation, so you don't even have to look at the solar potential. Say you could just look at the orientation on the surfaces facing north. Does that have an impact on? Has that changed over years, so when the houses have been built, and then on public values as well? But the guess was that problem solving potential doesn't have an impact on property values.
Actually, my question is related to my earlier question. I want to talk to you something.
Have you used it to look at like the time variation? So all these, it's a little bit like Australia, where I guess the middle of the day is all the solar being produced and no one using it.
Yeah. No, not obviously you could, because you can use it. Once you have a 3D model, you can use any solar tool you want to calculate it. So you can link it to something else like that. So the ArcGIS tool has those options. You can do it for a day, but since I just have, at this point I didn't think of it. I think that would be interesting. I'd look at the potential of summer. And a bit of the summer.
Any other questions?
Just an observation. Since the idea of car park in the CBD in Woodbury should put the sell sign for the car park shows you draw that simulation. Here's a car park, good soil, so shows you there. And some real money, car park.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, thank you again.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.